experience the full power of the dark side. Good!
We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
What the? Ah! Misa back!
Prepare to fire!
Oh no!
Hello and welcome back to Star Wars Beyond the Stars for episode number 29, recorded on Friday, April 17th, 2015, 2 days after Tax Day. I'm your host, Fred, aka Sith Lord Korv. And not joining me tonight is Agent Olan, who locked himself in the refresher with a little bit of help of an exploding ID-10T. And also joining me tonight, other than ID-10T, is Paige, aka Captain Kinbrae, and Treek.
You should know that I locked Lou in the bathroom because we didn't pay our taxes, and I knew he'd run his mouth about it.
Goopa noopa!
Good plan. Good plan indeed. You can find out more about our show at StarWarsBeyond.com. We're available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SwitchOrNetwork.com. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyondPodcast. Tweet us at StarWarsBeyond. Our usual record time is Wednesday nights at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/NoSHDGaming. And if for some reason we are not live there, you can find us at our backup at hitbox.tv/StarWarsBeyond. Paige, what's coming up in the Captain's Log tonight?
Coming up in the Captain's Log, we have our last week in game, the new Star Wars Treaser. The new Star Wars teaser trailer 2 as transcribed by moi. And we're not going to have Agent Olan's intelligence report this week because I had to hit him over the head with a plunger.
It's encrypted. We can't get into it.
Plus nothing. Something quick to mention, SWTOR Double XP is back. The Old Republic is hosting a Double XP event for the duration of the Star Wars Celebration Convention, and that's from April 16th until April 19th.
That's right. We're in the middle of that right now. Which is why this is probably going to be a shorter episode, because we want to get back to playing.
That's right.
So let's just plow right ahead into the Captain's Log then. And Paige, what did you do over the last week in game?
Well, as per the usual, I PvP'd like hell on my healing operative. I always seem to squeeze that in. I did notice the queue seemed to take a little longer than it normally does for the times that I play. And that is something that we discussed in the last episode, that potentially queue times would be getting longer because people would be getting mad about the changes. And it makes me wonder if SWTOR will ever implement cross-server queues. I doubt it, but I wonder.
I hope so.
I do too. I also have big plans this weekend to take advantage of the double XP. Fred and I have a big group of people that we play together that could use a good push toward the end game. It's just a matter of figuring out who you want to play.
You heard it. We play a big group of people together.
I didn't mean that. I mean, we have a team of me and you.
I enjoy deceiving people.
Okay, yeah. And something I also have plans to do is to start working on my trade skills. I've really been neglecting that since I started playing the game. I have like 2 maxed skills. between all of my characters, and one of them is slicing, and I think one of them is treasure hunting, which is very sad. Normally, I just make Fred make me things, or I buy things off the GTN. I'm really going to struggle with leveling up my skills since I don't care about it that much. I actually don't think about it at all. It just doesn't occur to me to do it. If I walk by something, I'm like, hey, I can slice that. So I might do that. But if I sit there and I think about, I need to craft something, I just don't do it. And it's also going to be difficult because Fred still owes me 700,000 credits.
It's coming in slow payments.
I see you changed my 800,000 to 700,000. I do not believe I received
Because I already
payment.
gave you 100,000.
I have a
You gotta
ledger.
check all of your alts because I send them out 1,000 credits at a time to every one of your characters.
Lies. I was on my operative and you didn't send her anything.
That's because she's high level. I send it to all your low level ones where you can't find it.
Okay,
because
you know what?
you
I'm
don't-
going to check.
If you don't claim it in 30 days, it comes back.
I'm going to check all of them. And if I don't have 100,000 credits, changing that 7 back to an 8. Fred, what did you do in game? Because we're done with that.
No, wait. This is my method. I mail the credits to your low-level characters, and then if you don't claim it in 30 days, it comes back to me. And then when I send it again, that's a double payment.
No.
30 days or you lose it. I didn't have a whole lot of game time this last week because my computer decided that it was going to start just turning itself off. And you were there for most of this when the first time I opened up my case and cleaned everything out, I thought, and then I put it all back together, and SWTOR was running okay, but ESO, which recently went by to play, I've been playing that as well with some of my NSG brethren, but ESO for some reason started crashing my computer every time I tried to log into the game. So I assumed that this was an ESO issue, so I thought the solution was don't play ESO. And so I just started playing SWTOR, and then out of nowhere, the computer just started crashing when I was trying to edit last week's podcast, which was a real pain. And that's when I opened it up again, and upon deeper investigation, I discovered that there was actually a space between the fan on top of my processor and my processor itself, where a layer of dust about as thick as the lint on a dryer filter had accumulated. And I cleaned that all off, but then once I put it back together, the fan on top of it wasn't running right. Like, it was making a weird buzzing noise. It didn't have the full power that it should. So I decided, screw that, and I got rid of all that, and I went on Amazon and bought a liquid cooling unit. And it came on Sunday, which I love the fact that the post office actually delivers Amazon packages on Sundays now. And so I sat out there and hooked that up, and now so far my computer seems to be running on average 100 degrees cooler than it was before. So that is wonderful, and that's Fahrenheit degrees for all of our listeners overseas. And once I finally got back into the game, I went back to Shadowlands to work on my sniper. He's the guy that has the Elvis hair and the pale Sith eyes. I picked up arms tech on him so that I could start making barrels on Shadowlands, because my gunslinger is already an armor mech, and my guardian is an artificer, so I can already make all of the gear enhancements. So hopefully once I get the barrels up there, I'll be able to gear any character out at least moderately well. And I'm starting to think about who I'm going to really focus on for the remainder of the Star Wars Celebration Double XP event. And I'm probably going to bounce between my Sorcerer on Shadowlands and my Vanguard on Jedi Covenant.
Guess I know what I'm doing this weekend then. I don't have to choose. You've chosen for us.
Decided for you.
Yay, I don't have to think.
That's good, because Sith don't enjoy when people around them think. They might realize they're being oppressed.
All I'm thinking about is the money.
And all Treek is thinking about is your high heels that she's eating over there.
Goopa noopa.
Those are loose.
Wow.
I'm kidding. They're
I
mine.
don't think you are. Those are quite large. What kind of covert missions undercover are they sending him on?
They're also camo.
Wow. Those must belong to Lana Bonico.
Yeah.
Looks like an Amazon. Well, I guess that about wraps up what we did in game, so then we go ahead and move right into the discussion topic.
Our week in game takes a lot less time when we aren't interrupting Lou. Alright, the discussion topic. There's a new Star Wars teaser trailer out. What, say what? For those of you that haven't seen this 2-minute teaser, I'm going to break it down for you with a dramatic reading. Ahem. 15 minutes of... Not 15 minutes. Crap. It's a 2-minute trailer.
Definitely staying in the show.
No, it should. 15 seconds of black screen. / Lucasfilms Ltd. / This preview has been approved by the Motion Picture Association of America.
Oh, thank God, I wouldn't have wanted to see it otherwise.
Speeder in the distance on Tatooine zooms across the screen. Too small to tell who's on it. Crimson Sea Biscuit Hawk obviously crash-landed in the background. Don't worry, we're all fine. ID-10D is working on repairs. I think. Black screen. Luke Skywalker voiceover stating the obvious. Image of melty Darth Vader helmet accompanied by respiratory noises. Black screen. Someone cloaked gropes R2-D2. Black screen. Someone hands someone a lightsaber, but you only see their hands. Assuming that's Luke and Leia. Black screen. Luke's still talking. He pauses a lot, even though he's only saying one sentence at a time when he speaks. I wonder how hard he's thinking about what he's saying. Bam! Action shot of fighters through the air. Pilot goes, woohoo! He's happy to be here. Bad guy swings lightsaber at invisible foe. People running from explosion. Bad guy extends his hand towards the camera menacingly, violating my personal bubble. Hey look! Stormtroopers! Girl's face, looking at something. More fighters. Another explosion! Here we have a nice shot of a stormtrooper being blown through the air. Whee! Stormtrooper.
Stormtrooper takes off helmet.
I can't talk tonight. This is the worst I've done in so long. Alright.
Also deciphered in ebonics.
Shh. Stormtrooper takes off helmet and looks at something on the floor. Crimson Sea Biscuit Hawk shot. Single stormtrooper with shiny armor looks menacing. I bet he's a bad guy. Droid. Random girl looking at something else. Random girl helps helmetless stormtrooper off the ground. Hey look! Millennium Falcon! Another menacing-looking trooper pilots a fighter, chasing the Millennium Falcon into the remains of the Crimson Sea Biscuit Hawk. Maybe we won't be leaving anytime soon, because the ship looks like Shaduki in this shot. Black screen. Luke did finally shut up. Hey look! Han Solo and Chewie! Whoa! Han Solo aged like milk.
Milk looks better when it's old. Han Solo looks like hot garbage.
Star Wars logo, followed by over-exaggerated trumpet playing. The word December shrinks into the stars. Woo!
F December.
And there you go, that's the trailer. So, now that you know what happens, we're gonna discuss it.
Well, thank you for catering to our blind audience.
Yep, you're welcome. So, what do you think of Harrison Ford? I quit.
Harrison Ford!
I can't do it tonight. What is the matter with me? I've had a lot of sugar today. You know what? I really have. All right, so what do we think of Harrison Ford looking like? I quit.
Look alive!
I quit. You say this question. I can't.
No, take a fourth crack at it.
What do you think of Harrison Ford looking like Han Oldo instead of Han Solo? I thought that was clever. It's not now that I've said it out loud. But what do you think of how he looks? Because he's the only face besides Chewbacca and R2 that you see that's a character from the originals. you don't actually see anyone else's face. It never shows Luke or Leia's face. I mean, you see Darth Vader's melty helmet, but you don't, that's not a face. So he's the only face you see. So how do you think he looks?
Okay. First off, I know I should be excited about the fact Harrison Ford is in this movie, but he looks like crap. And when I saw him dressed as Han Solo again at the ripe old age of 94, I died a little on the inside. Because Han Solo is supposed to be this timeless character that you picture as this young, suave rebel. And he just looks like somebody's grandfather trying to dress like Fonzie. It's horrible. Like, I'm really uncomfortable when I see Harrison Ford looking like that as Han Solo.
When I look at him now, I don't see Han Solo anymore. I see other people he's been. Not even Indiana Jones.
The Indiana Jones is who came to mind. Like, I see him and I'm like, oh, that's Dr. Jones.
That didn't even come to mind to me. He just looks like a grumpy old guy, and I wonder how he's gonna bring Han Solo back to life, because I mean, whether or not Han Solo has matured at all, I mean, that's questionable. You don't know, because this will be the first time you've seen him in years.
Well, there's supposed to be 3 books that take place between Return of the Jedi and this new movie, so if you read the books, you probably have some kind of an idea of what happened to him.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that that's how it's going to be in the movie.
It does. That's the new canon, these 3 books.
They don't always follow books exactly.
Well, they're not going to follow, like, it's supposed to be what happens in the period in between. So it's setting the precedent for what Episode 7 is going to be. So it'll, like, tell you what Han Solo has gone through since the little Ewok party where they're all dancing around on Endor to the point where Episode 7 takes place and he's in a nursing home.
What you're not understanding is that he can still be written differently in a script.
What you're not understanding is what we saw in that trailer was his only line in the entire project. Because if they gave him any more than that, he somehow managed to break a limb.
He did break his ankle! I'm interested in seeing how Han Solo behaves now. I mean, idealistically, you'd still want him to be the same kind of guy. He's comic relief, he's funny, he's able to get out of these insane situations. He's like the Captain Jack Sparrow of Star Wars. It's like, how did you make it out of that alive? And it's because he's insane, but in a good way. And I'm just curious to see how he behaves now that he's 197 years old.
He really looks older than Yoda was.
He does look bad. I don't know, like...
This is what I don't get. He's part of, arguably, one of the biggest AAA movies that's ever produced. Like, they probably have a bigger budget for Star Wars than they did for Lord of the Rings. And they couldn't, like, slap some makeup on this guy, make some of those wrinkles go away. Make Han Solo look more like he's 50 instead of 80.
I think that's a bit of a hyperbole. He doesn't look quite 80.
He looks horrible.
He doesn't... I don't know how old he's supposed to be. I guess that's something that should be mentioned. I don't know how old he's supposed to be in the originals, and I don't know how old he's supposed to be now. I don't think they ever give you, like, an age. But you kind of, you guess about what age he looks. And it's not a good number.
So many wrinkles.
Like, it gets to a point where if you were to say, yeah, he's supposed to be 80 right now, instead of being like, yeah, Han Solo, kick some butt, you're like, oh my god, do you need to sit down? Do you need to take a nap? Are you cold?
Well, what makes it really horrible is the fact that Chewbacca doesn't look a day older than he did originally.
He should have put some gray in his fur.
Chewbacca should have gotten older, but Han Solo looks like Chewbacca was stuck in that cryogenics lab from Futurama this entire time, and he comes out looking the same age that he was, and then Han Solo looks like he aged about 30 years.
Hasn't it been like 30 years? No,
Yeah.
but you know what, though? If they can make Arnold Schwarzenegger look like his younger self in the new Terminator movies, make him look like he did in the old Terminator movies, then they could have fixed Harrison Ford's face.
If they can make Joseph Gordon-Levitt look like Bruce Willis in Looper.
Those were prosthetics, though. Or no,
Yeah,
that's not the right word, is it?
Yeah, that is the right word.
Oh, okay.
But they could have put a few prosthetics or something on Han Solo to make him look like not young Han Solo, but younger Han Solo.
I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I want him to look exactly the same as he did back then, because that's not true. I want to see him be an older man. That's something I'm looking forward to. But Harrison Ford, he looks almost frail, like I'm worried about him more than I'm excited for him. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, that's the part that's really unsettling. I know we're kind of poking some jokes here about how old he looks, but at the end of the day, when I saw him, I expected when I saw the original Star Wars characters, I was going to be excited. Like, oh, it's Han Solo again, or it's Luke Skywalker. But then I actually saw Han Solo in this trailer, and I'm like, oh man, that really sucks. Because now I'm looking at him, and I'm like, oh man, he's that old. Star Wars is that old. Like, it's been that long.
Like, when I watched this, I didn't think, hey, Han Solo. I thought, oh my God, Harrison Ford. Like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, because in our minds, we've seen Star Wars so many times that Star Wars is timeless. Those characters are whatever ages they are in those movies, and that's how we know them. And now we see them in the new Star Wars, and we're like, oh my God. Like, how many years have gone by? And it's immersion breaking. That's the word for it. When I see him, I don't see Han Solo from Star Wars. I see Harrison Ford, the old man that is trying to reprise a role that he did 30 some odd years ago.
This is just based off the trailer. I hope that when we sit down and watch this movie, that it takes us away and we don't think about Harrison Ford on the screen. We see Han Solo. I hope that happens. But this is just a teaser trailer, and really, he's the only one that speaks a line from the movie. Luke is doing a voiceover. I don't know if those are actually lines from the movie.
Do you know for a fact that's Luke, though? Because the way that the character's talking when he says, talking about the Force, and he's like, my father has it.
I know, and I mentioned that he said has, but that is his voice. I know that that's his voice. I can just hear it.
All right.
I insist. Let's move on. I don't want to make it seem like I don't like Harrison Ford or something. He is an amazing actor. He's very talented. I've seen him in a lot of things since Star Wars, and he's really good at what he does, and he's a badass outside of movies too. You know, he's a pilot and he rescues people and all kinds of stuff like that. He's totally cool.
Wow.
I really hope that when it comes down to it, I'm not just looking at the screen and like wrinkling my nose like, oh, stop, Grandpa Harrison, please sit down.
Okay, Pele just tackled the math for us. And in 1977, apparently he was 29 years old in A New Hope.
Okay.
And that was 38 years ago.
Oh, my Lord. So how old is he supposed to be now?
I mean, supposed to be now.
Or whatever, how old
You
is
make
he?
it sound like he's like some pet that died years ago. Like, how old would he be now if he was still alive?
That's not what I mean. So how old is...
67.
Okay, he's 67. I can see that.
I don't want to see that, though. That's the problem. Like, nobody wants to think of Harrison Ford... Well, nobody wants to think of Han Solo as an old man.
I think that's the problem. Is when you watch the old movies and you see Harrison Ford and even Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill, you see them as these young people, and there weren't movies after that. You were supposed to fill it in your own mind. and just move on from there. Now that there are actually sequels to the original trilogy, you're seeing them as older characters, and I think it makes it real for you that because they're older, they are, I don't want to say that they're weaker, because you can become stronger in the Force, but they are aging, and with age comes death, and you don't want to think about your favorite characters passing away of old age. And when you only see them as young people, you can imagine them for the rest of your life. Imagine what they're doing or where they'd be, what kind of planet they're on, whatever. Now that you see them as old people, you're thinking, okay, it's time to sit down in your rocking chair.
That's exactly it. When you watch the original movies, you see Han Solo, and he's this young guy that's basically in his prime. And then fast forward to the new movies, and it's going to be like he's an old man. And he's not a Force user. He's just a regular dude that got old.
Yeah.
Now, Luke, it makes sense because he would transition from being this young Padawan to being an old Jedi Master. So he could still be old and still be a badass because he has the Force.
Right.
And see, what really disturbs me about this, and I have no idea that this is coming, but because Han Solo looks as old as he does, all I think about is an old interview where they said that Han Solo, the character, Harrison Ford wanted Han Solo to die in the original Star Wars movies. He wanted his character to die. And now I'm thinking, I wonder if he's actually going to have his character die in the new movies.
Oh, you wonder if they're going to write that in. Mm-hmm.
And I do not want to see any of the characters from the original movies die. Because I'll tell you right now, if Han Solo dies in Episode 7, 7, 8, 9 will be known as worse than the prequels.
I'm on the fence about this, because when you have a well-known, beloved character, almost idolized, and still, relevant 30 years later, when you have a character like that and you kill them off, it hurts people. It hurts thousands, possibly millions of people. It actually physically hurts them because they feel like they've known this person for years. And when people are hurt like that, when a movie can make you feel, even when it hurts, you like the movie.
I don't think so. I think if he died in Episode 7, I would never watch 8 and 9.
I would. But let me tell you, if we go to the movies and he dies, I'm going to cry. You should know that.
Well, if he dies in that movie, I'm going to wonder if that was just in the movie or if that was IRL and they happened to record it. Because that man almost died twice in the filming of this movie.
Didn't he almost die recently? Like he was in a plane crash because he was...
That's what I mean.
Doing a search and rescue.
During the filming, he almost died twice. Like, they can't let this guy leave the set. He has to have, 8 people attend to him at all times. And they got to open and close. They had to set the speed of the Millennium Falcon's door to be 1/8 of the speed it was. Because last time it caught and busted his ankle.
Well, you're blaming him for that. Are you sure that wasn't just a malfunction?
It's supposed to be a prop door. How much force can it have?
You don't know. You don't know how they built it.
I know Chewbacca didn't get stuck in the door.
Was he going through the door too?
No, because evidently he should have held it open.
Just stop. You're so mean.
I'm not trying to be mean.
But you are.
My point is, in closing, that I thought it would be cool to see these characters reprise their roles. And now I take it back. Because I think that, on some level, it is going to break my immersion to see them as old people now. And Harrison Ford is going to have to do one hell of a job acting, and he's going to have a big role in this movie to convince me that he's actually Han Solo again. Because that little, "we're home, Chewie," didn't do it for me.
My closing statement on this is that I'm apprehensive, but I am hopeful. I'm going to keep an open mind, but at the same time, I'm not going to take it easy on them because it's Star Wars. If it sucks, I'm going to say it sucks.
And if it
Next,
sucks, I'm going to root for the prequels to go back to theaters.
the next question we have is, does this trailer suck you up more than the first one? And I think your answer is no.
No, it doesn't.
Now,
I feel like nothing happened in this trailer.
it didn't, and that's why I did that dramatic reading, because it was like when I knew that the trailer was coming out, I was like, ooh, excitement. And then I watched it the first time, I was like, oh, okay. And I watched it again before the show twice, once to watch it through and try to, I guess, feel something from it. And the second time I watched it before the show, I was writing my dramatic reading. The first trailer, it seems like when I watched it, I was like, ooh, especially when, that lightsaber ignites, you're just like, oh, snaps, y'all. But with this one, I'm just like, Luke, shut up. Why is the screen black again? You only have 2 minutes of screen time, and you spend easily 45 seconds of that with a black screen. Stop it. It's not dramatic. It's annoying. But these are teaser trailers. I imagine that sometime in the late summer or maybe early fall, we'll actually get a real trailer.
I still think that Episode 8 is going to be the best of this new trilogy. It's the only one that J.J. Abrams isn't directing.
Oh, you're being harsh.
I
J.J. Abrams
just
does
think
some good work, but
But I think it's starting to go to his head.
you think so?
Too many of those big movies to do. Got to spread it around. Give them a reason to compete. When they get to the top and you just keep giving them big title after big title, they have no real need to do a good job.
Yeah. Because they're like, hi, I'm that person. Do you know who I am?
I directed this and this and this.
That's good for you, buddy. I mean, I don't want to compare directors to directors because everybody has a different style. But I have to say that there is one director that when he first started making movies, I loved everything. Everything. It was, if he directed it, I wanted to see it. And then it got to a point where he got, I think, a little too popular. And then everything I saw of his, I was just kind of like, eh.
I would still like to see a Star Wars movie directed by Tim Burton.
What?
If they gotta kill off Han Solo, I want him to go in a knife fight. And I want it to be against Jar Jar Binks, who's also an old man.
Oh, God, I hope he's not in these movies. He shouldn't be. No, he's probably dead.
No, his species lives a long time.
Ow!
I have a feeling like it's going to be the middle of... They'll probably wait till episode 9 to bring him out, but Luke's going to be there, and then all of a sudden you're going to hear, "Oh, Lukey, I knew your father!"
I will be very upset if that happens. That's like a theater walkout level of upset.
And then that's when Harrison Ford jumps all the way out of the Millennium Falcon just to take out Jar Jar and dies a hero.
A kamikaze, thank you. Is that a death you'll accept from him?
If Harrison Ford dies to extinguish a Gungan, I will accept that.
Okay.
But it has to be Jar Jar specifically.
So, neither one of us are as impressed with this second trailer as we are with the first one. I did like the first one significantly better. It got a bigger reaction out of me. This one, I'm just kind of like, oh my God, seriously? But with the first one, I was kind of mesmerized. Like, oh my God, I can't wait for this!
Why
this
do they keep fixating on that stupid stormtrooper taking off his helmet?
I don't know. I think it's supposed to make you feel more of a connection to him.
Yeah, it just makes you think he's a bad stormtrooper. Keep your helmet on, dude.
That's so he can see better, so he can shoot.
He's
Maybe
not
hit
supposed
something.
to be able to shoot. He's a stormtrooper.
That's why he took his helmet off. He's like, I have to hit something this time, guys.
I would love if they actually made that a thing where there's a scene where there's a room full of stormtroopers and the good guys run by and one of them starts shooting and all of a sudden all the other stormtroopers around them are dead on the ground and the good guys are still running.
There was like an image, I don't know where it is, it's totally off topic, of why stormtroopers miss. And it showed an image of the helmet that they wear and where the eye placement would be of the clone inside, and where the eye, like, holes, they're not really holes, more so as they're like, like a plexiglass or something, like, in front of where their eyes are supposed to be. It's like halfway down their cheek. So it's like they can't see anything.
Well, to clarify, though, that rumor was recently debunked, and the stormtroopers were not clones.
Gas.
Mm-hmm. They just happened to hire a bunch of actors that were about the same size.
Oh, I wonder how that works. Everybody who's 5'10" and weighs this much, come to the studio. We got a job for you. All right.
There's nothing appropriate I could say in response to that.
Don't then. Last question that we have. What do you think of the Crimson Seabiscuit Hawks stuck in the sand in the background of that one shot?
What do I think?
How'd we get there? Oh my god.
Should have never let Treek drive.
She was driving with those high heels on. Do you want to move on?
Kind of.
All right, Star Wars recommendation of the week. For those interested in actually getting a look at the recommendation of the week, I will be posting a link with a photo on the Facebook wall. Fred picked out our Star Wars recommendation of the week this week from stupid.com, and it is a Star Wars Jedi telescope. It's exactly what it sounds like, but for some reason it requires 3 AAA batteries. Someone explain that to me.
That's how you take out your enemies. It looks like a telescope, but when they look through it, they press the button, and then a lightsaber comes on and goes through their eye.
I have nothing to say to that.
It's really a Sith telescope.
Yeah, I don't understand the batteries. Like, I don't know why it needs it. And it doesn't say anything about it including a stand, so you're just supposed to stand outside and hold this thing? You know, like, if you keep your arm up long enough, it starts to hurt after a while, and stargazing can take some time.
I'm just picturing that scene in A New Hope when Luke's standing out there looking through the telescope looking for R2-D2.
Oh, I give up.
That really sad music playing.
Ugh, I know what you're talking about.
Was anybody else hoping that those sand people would kill him the first time they saw the movie?
I was hoping that he'd die in the second movie. I'm like, God, this guy whines too much. I hope he matured enough to quit all that crying. Just like his daddy, always boo-hooing about something.
That would be interesting. If Star Wars wasn't so old, we could actually have a discussion about how did you think the movie was going to go the first time you saw it? But I can't even remember now.
Well, you saw it as a child. I didn't actually see it until I was in my 20s. So I had been alive long enough, and it had been out long enough where I pretty much had an idea of how all 6 movies went because it's still so talked about. So I like, nothing in the movie surprised me. I mean, of course it was new to me because I had never seen it, but it was just kind of like, yeah, okay, I know how this is going to go. Just because that's how it is.
Nothing surprised you?
No.
It didn't even surprise you when C-3PO got blown to pieces and Chewbacca put him in a backpack?
No.
Or what about how they made friends with Jar Jar Binks and didn't kill him?
That didn't surprise me. It was disappointing.
What about, you're breaking my heart, Eddie?
That don't look like heartbreak to me. That don't look like real tears. The community hollow feed where we read. I quit. Why tonight?
None of these are getting edited out because this is the comedy of the episode.
But it's not. It's so stupid. I can't. Like, I've been doing so good. Shut up for a second. I've been doing so good for weeks. And then we get on a show where Lou's not around. And I start just... Jeez. I can't... on show nights, I cannot have sugar anymore. No more. The community hollow feed, where we read your emails, tweets, and Facebook feedback. The trivia question of the week. Each week we're going to post a trivia question into our YouTube video version of the show. Simply go to StarWarsBeyond.com and we'll link you right to the episode. On the episode page, there will be a button you press to see the trivia question of the week. Alternatively, it will always be after we say our goodbyes. Then shoot us an email with your answer to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. In the email, include your character name, your faction, and the server you play on. If there's more than one correct answer, we'll do a random drawing to win a cartel pack. Everyone that answers correctly will be entered into a drawing for a much larger prize, which we will draw on the show every few months. You will be entered into the grand prize drawing every time you answer correctly. And since Lou's not here, we don't have a winner.
No, we'll be picking a winner next week. But we do have a couple of tweets that we got where Ryan, aka Nameless Noob, clarified to us from last week's email that Mara is playing a mercenary DPS and they're using Treek as their healer.
Me too.
So, welcome back to the game, guys. Hope you're having fun with your group setup.
Does Treek pee on you as much as she pees on this ship?
Probably not. And Jason Brown sent out a tweet to us and to Eric Musco and said, can we have a cartel item that makes Warzone and basic comm limits higher? And I say, screw that. We should not have to give them cartel coins to make our limits higher. That should be a subscriber perk. We should have higher limits than free-to-play players.
The only thing I have to contribute to the community hollow feed is that I posted a picture of a duck, and Mater Rex, also known as Lewis, told me to run because it was Treek in disguise in her new indoor skin for 100,000 cartel coins.
Picture of a duck. How does this go in the community hollow feed?
It was a duck.
You didn't even take a picture of the brown one.
It flew away!
So you expect me to believe that the green one, which is clearly a male, is Treek?
Yeah, what the hell, Mater?
The brown one would have been believable.
The brown one would not stay. I may have been trying to touch it. I make friends with all sorts
we're pushing ratings today.
No, don't be weird. I make friends with all sorts of animals outside. I'm like a Disney princess. I have birds in the backyard. There's a chipmunk under the porch. There's a skunk that I try to shoot. That's different, though.
I make friends with random animals as well. I'll show you the collection I have under my bed later.
No, that's okay.
So what's going on in our SWTOR community?
Check out our fellow SWTOR podcasts. Most of them are available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at SWTORnetwork.com. There's ToroCast at ToroCast.com, Corellian Run Radio at CorellianRun.com, UntiniCast at UntiniCast.com, SWTOR Skate Podcast at NewOverlords.com, The Usual Podcast at TheUsualPodcast.com, Old Republic Radio is on iTunes, Healing SWTOR on iTunes, and MIDI Podcast on iTunes, and the Bad Feeling Podcast at badfeelingpodcast.com. Be warned, because that is an explicit podcast. Also follow Madmar at SWTOR Family for the latest happenings in the SWTOR community. And if you'd like to have your podcast listed on this segment, send us an email at starwarsbeyond@gmail.com. Nailed it!
And as a little side note, we are in communications about bringing back the community podcast. So you should be hearing more about that within the next month or so. There's some new people involved with that. And now I'm going to tell you one more time how you can get a hold of us. You can find out more about this show at StarWarsBeyond.com. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyondPodcast. And you can send us an email, StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. You can tweet us. The show is at StarWarsBeyond. I am at Sith Lord Korv. Lou is at GamerGuy11B. And Paige is at Asa Fiery. And now it's time for our final thoughts, Paige.
Final thoughts? I can't wait until the movie actually comes out. We see it and then we record afterward. I'm just so excited. I feel like that's going to be a good episode.
I used to look forward to that, and then they showed me an incredibly old Harrison Ford. But I really, really, really hope that he has a very large role, that he doesn't die in, and that he does an amazing job acting and sells me on the fact that he is Han Solo again.
He's an amazing actor. I think he can sell it, but they have to give him the opportunity to do so.
And Chewbacca should definitely look old.
Old.
He doesn't look old at all. He looks like a young Wookiee. Because now, I couldn't really tell for sure, but in that trailer, he looks like he's almost 100% CGI now. which makes him look younger than he did in the original movie.
I'm gonna have to look at that again.
Beyond the Stars is an independently recorded fan podcast made in association with NSG Productions. And now it's time to say goodnight.
Good night from the shortest episode ever.
Yeah, it's not all that short. We should be longer again next week, folks. Things kind of fell apart at the last minute this week, but we should have the whole crew back together for next week's episode at our usual record time. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for the people that came out to listen to us record live. Go ahead. I know you got something to say.
I might let Lou out of the bathroom if we can scrounge up money to pay the taxes, or at least make some documents to make him think we paid the taxes. Do you know any forgers?
We know...
Slicers? Anybody?
Real Auditor Buckeye.
Yes.
Have a good night, everybody.
Night.
Anytime you're ready.
I already forgot what you wanted me to say. Beyond the Stars trivia question of the week. For the week of April 15th.
Unmuted to tell you what to say, and then you start saying it.
You son of a bee. What is it again? I'm serious. Is it Agent Star Wars trivia question of the week or just Star Wars?
Beyond the Stars
Oh.
trivia question of the week.
Okay, enough. I know what to do. Mute. Beyond the Stars trivia question of the week for the week of April 15th.
2015.
Oh my god, does that matter? Beyond the Stars trivia question of the week for the week of...
She's trying.
I can't! Like, my mind keeps blanking and I'm like, what just happened? Hold on. I can do this. I'm so tired. It's so hopped up on sugar. Okay. Beyond the Stars trivia question of the week for the week of April 15th, 2015. Nailed it.
2015.
Did I say? I said that.
No, you said 2015. You said it wrong. You got to say it the way Lou says it.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
You're being nitpicky.
Just say it again.
God. Which part am I going to forget this time? Beyond the
Stars.
Oh my god! I can't. You stop talking. Beyond the Stars trivia question of the week for the week of April 15th, 2015.
Whenever you're ready, I'm recording.
I quit. We're done. You're going to have to say it.
No, come on, one more time.
Fred!
You got this.
I said it right. Why didn't you record?
Play is cheering you on.
Thank you, Polly. Oh my god, we're still live.
Yes, we're still live.
Beyond the Stars trivia question of the week for the week of April 15th, 2015.
Wait, an ad started playing on Twitch. You gotta do it again.
Oh my god. Do you are you guys talking I wonder how many times I can make her say it. I bet you can make her say it 15 times.
Saying,
I think that's happening.
He's saying, go Paige, rah, rah, rah.
I don't believe you.
That's exactly what he's saying.
You private message me on Twitter and tell me if he's lying. If he is, I'll hit him, and we're still live, so you'll know it happened. Mute so I can say it. Beyond the Stars trivia question of the week for the week of April 15th, 2015. Are you serious?
Huh?
You coughed!
No, I didn't.
I heard you! I'm not doing it.
Come on, just one more time.
This is the last time. Do not ask me again. How many times have I said it? Has it been 15? Do you owe play money?
I think you only got it right once.
Oh my god! BS. Bullshit dookie. Mute yourself.
Why?
So you won't when I'm
I
talking.
didn't do that.
Yes, you did. I heard you. Then who was it? Treek? Damn it, Play. Shut up. Beyond the Stars trivia question of the week for the week of April 15th, 2015.
It's April 17th.
I'm not doing it.
What do you mean you're not doing it?
I'm done with you. You told me to do the 15th because the 15th was Wednesday.
But we didn't record Wednesday.
You told me.
You've served your purpose.
Beyond the Stars trivia question of the week of April 17th, 2015.
First clue. I was a symbol of unspeakable destruction, a prototype of future designs yet to be made. Second clue. My predecessor aptly demonstrated the potential firepower I could wield to the rest of the galaxy. Third clue. Built in secrecy, I was not alone in my construction. Elsewhere, a similar platform was taking shape as well as other variants. Fourth clue. My first and only use was to help gather raw materials in order to help construct my defense. Fifth clue. My namesake died on board my predecessor. Who or what am I? And as always, folks, please send your replies to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. And in your answer, please include your character name, what faction you're on, and the server you are on, along with your faction. And as always, good luck. Looking forward to seeing all your replies.